5 secrets to achieving everything you want in life that nobody's telling you about. Today, I want to start with a truth that might hit you hard. Most of us don't fail because we lack talent or ability. We fail because we've been living in a fog for way too long. We wake up every morning, go to work, hustle hard, chase 100 different things. But we have no clue where we're actually going. The scariest part isn't that you're not getting what you want. It's that you don't even know what you want, and you're just letting life drag you along on autopilot. We've all been taught the same story. Work hard and you'll succeed. But the truth? It's not that simple. Some people grind for years and never move the needle. Not because they're lazy, but because they're missing the right keys. And that gap. That's what keeps so many people stuck in the same place, working their tails off but never breaking through. That's exactly why you need to watch this video today. 5 secrets to achieving everything in life that nobody's telling you about. Not generic advice, but foundational principles that can completely transform how you think, how you live, and how you take action. In this video, I'm going to reveal 3 critical things. How to figure out what you actually want, so you can stop drifting through life. How to take the right action to move faster toward your goals. And the methods for building the mindset and environment that help you grow every single day. These are the foundations that, if you master them, can completely change your life. Watch this entire video, because understanding just one of these secrets could be the turning point. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you never miss content that helps you become the best version of yourself. Now, to kick off today's journey, we need to look at a truth that way too many people overlook. There are things that seem simple but actually determine the entire direction of our lives. And this is the first foundation that anyone needs to master if they want to change their life for the better. Secret 1. Define your goals or you'll keep drifting. Setting clear goals is the first step to stop living a directionless life. And the reason this becomes the foundation of all change is simple. If you don't know where you're going, all your effort becomes meaningless. Imagine this. You walk outside, hop in an Uber, and tell the driver, "Just drive anywhere, I don't care." What's going to happen? You'll probably end up somewhere you never wanted to be in the first place. Life works the exact same way. Most people are busy, stressed out, racing against the clock, but they don't actually know what they're working toward. This vagueness makes them easy targets to get swept up in whatever's in front of them, whatever other people expect, instead of choosing their own path. When you don't have clear goals, you live reactively instead of proactively. Someone calls, you answer. Work shows up, you do it. An opportunity appears, and you grab it without even knowing if it's what you need. All of this creates an endless loop where you feel super busy, but you're not getting any closer to the life you actually want. Meanwhile, people with clear goals are like travelers with a map in hand. They know the destination, they know the route, and even if they move slowly, they're always heading in the right direction. A lot of people confuse wanting something with having a goal. Wanting is what's in your head. A goal is what you define with clarity. For example, you say you want more money, you want freedom, you want happiness. Those are just wishes. That's vague, like saying you want to be healthy without defining what healthy means or looks like. A real goal has a specific shape. It answers the question, what do you want to achieve? How will you do it? In what time frame? And why does it matter to you? A good goal is as clear as a sharp photograph. You look at it and know exactly what you're chasing. When you decide clearly what you want, your brain automatically filters information, picks opportunities that fit, and ignores what doesn't matter. This is a completely natural human mechanism. It's like when you decide you want to buy a red car. Suddenly, you see red cars everywhere. It's not because there are more of them. It's because your mind has been programmed to notice them. Goals work the same way. With clear goals, every action you take starts to have direction. Every small decision throughout the day becomes more precise because you know what fits your journey. Setting clear goals doesn't just help you know what you want. It helps you say no to things that don't align. Saying no is a critical skill that protects your time and energy. Someone with clear goals won't easily get distracted by pointless invitations, time-wasting activities, or paths that other people try to force on them. They live more selectively, more consciously, more effectively. But most importantly, deciding clearly what you want helps you build the belief that your life is in your hands. This belief is incredibly powerful. It helps you overcome failure, stand back up after setbacks, and keep moving forward. Because you know that every step, no matter how small, brings you closer to your goal. And that's what creates lasting motivation, more than any temporary pep talk ever could. Bottom line, defining what you truly want is the foundation of all change. It doesn't just help you choose the right direction, it helps you maintain energy, focus, and the ability to take long-term action. Now, to help you see how ready you are for this journey, leave a comment below. Just a few words will help you reflect on yourself and create a connection with others watching this video. Commenting is the first step to committing to a clearer goal. Write this down below. I'm ready to define my goals. Secret 2. Start today. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Awesome. When you write that down, you're sending a powerful signal to yourself that you've begun the journey to take control of your life. Now that you understand the importance of knowing what you want, we need to move to an even more critical stage. Having a goal without action is like having a map but refusing to take a step. This is where you need to create real movement in your life through powerful, decisive action. Here's the thing. Most people never actually do this. They always tell themselves, I'll start when I have more time, when I have more money, when I feel better, when things settle down. And then month after month, year after year, they're still standing still. Why? Because the perfect moment never comes. Every stage of life has obstacles, very reasonable excuses to delay. But if you keep waiting until everything lines up perfectly, you'll be waiting your whole life. Taking powerful action doesn't mean doing something huge right away. It means choosing one specific, clear thing and starting now. For example, if you want to improve your health, you don't need to wait until you have a free week to start working out. You just need to walk for 10 minutes today. If you want to learn a new skill, you don't need to wait until you buy all the materials or equipment. You just need to spend 5 minutes watching a basic tutorial. That small start creates momentum. Your mind gets activated, and you become more likely to take action in the days that follow. Plenty of psychology research shows that people don't take action because they have motivation. They start first, and then motivation follows. When you do something, even something small, you send a signal to your brain that you've entered action mode. This state triggers a sense of progress, and that sense of progress creates motivation. So the secret isn't to wait for inspiration, it's to create inspiration through action. Successful people always act before they feel ready. They understand that hesitation is the biggest enemy. The more time you give your mind to think, the easier it is to make up reasons not to do it. So their rule is simple. See something that needs doing. Do it now. See something important? Touch it immediately, even if just for 1 minute. Decisive action is how they keep themselves from falling into the spiral of procrastination. One more thing. Powerful action doesn't mean reckless action. It means action with a clear purpose. You know what you're doing, where you're heading, and why it matters. When that's the case, every step you take has weight. Every action creates a force strong enough to change your reality. With this approach, you're no longer afraid of failure, because failure is simply feedback that helps you adjust your next action. And don't forget, the longer you wait, the more you lose faith in yourself. Every time you promise but don't deliver, your mind registers that you're someone who doesn't keep their word. But when you start taking action right away, even small action, you're reinforcing the belief that you're someone who walks the talk. This belief is critical. It builds self-respect, confidence, and ultimately, big results. So powerful, decisive action isn't about doing a ton in one day. It's about starting immediately and maintaining consistent action. Without the first step, there's no second step. Without the second step, there's never a journey. Now, to truly start changing, I want you to leave a comment. This will mark that you're ready to step out of the procrastination zone and into the action zone. Comment below, "I'm ready to take action today." Secret 3. Your circle determines your future. Great. When you write that down, you're marking an important moment, the moment you choose action over waiting. A small choice, but one that can change your entire life. Now that you understand the power of immediate action, we need to dive into something that can either speed up or completely stall your growth. Nobody can go it alone their whole life, and the environment you live in is the silent but most persistent force pulling or pushing you forward. The people you spend time with directly impact your future. This isn't just motivational talk. It's one of the most proven psychological principles. Humans are massively influenced by their surroundings, including thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. If you surround yourself with people who are always negative, skeptical, and scared of change, you'll gradually absorb that energy. On the flip side, if you're around people who are proactive, disciplined, and growth-oriented, you'll also become stronger and more motivated. Your environment is like air. You don't see it, but you breathe it in every single day. Here's what you need to understand. Your environment isn't just the physical place you live. It's the conversations you participate in, the content you consume daily, the people you spend time with. All of these influence your mind bit by bit. For example, if every night you watch mindless entertainment, you'll gradually get used to absorbing scattered, low-value information. But if every night you listen to a podcast, read a chapter of a book, you're feeding your mind with material that creates progress. People work the same way. Try this. Look at your 5 closest friends. You'll notice you share a lot of similarities with them, from how you talk, how you react, to how you think. This happens naturally because we're always syncing with our environment. And this is why successful people are extremely selective about who they spend time with. They avoid relationships that drag them down and seek out people who can lift them up. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut off everyone who's different from you. But you do need to rebalance. You can love someone without letting them determine the quality of your life. You can respect someone without following their limited thinking. You have the right to choose an environment that aligns with your goals. Nobody can take that right away except you. Here's an easy example. If you want to learn to swim, you have to get in the water. If you want to learn Spanish, you have to hear it every day. Same thing, if you want to grow, you need to be around people who are growing. Conversations with them will open new perspectives. The way they live will make you want to level up, and their energy will pull you out of old habits. A good environment doesn't just lift you up, it also keeps you going when you want to quit. Sometimes all it takes is one word of encouragement, one gentle reminder from someone with a positive mindset to help you continue your journey. That's something a toxic environment will never do. They only make you doubt yourself, doubt your goals, and eventually give up. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your environment and the people you allow into your inner world. The right environment will help you move faster, stronger, and farther than any solo method ever could. Now, to truly think about the environment you're living in and prepare for change, leave a comment. This is your first step to confirm you're ready to choose what surrounds you. Comment below. I choose an environment that levels me up. Secret 4. Change your mindset. Change your life. Fantastic. When you write that down, You're sending a clear signal to your mind that you've entered a phase of active selection, and this will be a critical turning point that helps you go further on your growth journey. So now, after understanding the power of your environment and the people around you, we need to move to something even deeper. You can have clear goals. You can take powerful action. You can stand in a positive environment. But if your mindset doesn't change, all your effort can still stop halfway. Your mindset is the root. And if the root is weak, no matter how much you care for the tree, it's hard for it to grow. Many people think that having skills or opportunities is enough. But what determines whether you can actually take advantage of those opportunities lies in your mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that human ability can develop through learning, practice, and the right effort. On the other hand, a fixed mindset is thinking that everyone is born with certain limits, and they can't change that. Just observe. When faced with a challenge, someone with a fixed mindset often thinks, "I can't do this. I'm not cut out for this. I'm scared of being judged." They feel like failure means there's something wrong with them. But someone with a growth mindset thinks differently. They see challenges as opportunities to learn. If they can't do it yet, they believe they can figure out how. This difference sounds simple, but it determines how each person responds to difficulty, and ultimately determines their quality of life. Here's a clear example. When someone faces a challenge at work, a fixed mindset makes them think they're inadequate. They're more likely to give up, more likely to take the safe route. But someone with a growth mindset will ask, "What do I need to learn? What do I need to adjust? Who can I ask for advice?" The way they ask different questions creates different paths. And even if two people start at the same point, they'll end up in two completely different worlds. A growth mindset isn't blind optimism. It's not thinking everything is easy. On the contrary, it's accepting that all great achievements require time and effort. But anyone can improve if they persist the right way. In fact, science has proven that the human brain can create new connections through learning and experience. This means your ability is never fixed. You can get better, stronger, and go much deeper than where you are now. One of the most common mistakes is people thinking they lack motivation, but often they lack the right mindset. When you believe you can grow, you have a reason to try. But if you believe you can't change, all motivation methods become meaningless. So a growth mindset is the root of sustainable motivation. It doesn't depend on fleeting emotions, but on believing in your ability to develop. To develop a growth mindset, you need to start by observing the automatic thoughts in your head. Every time you hear yourself say, "I can't do this," change it to, "I can't do this yet." Just that one word, "yet," opens up a much bigger space. It gives you the feeling that you still have a chance, still have time to learn and fix mistakes. This is the first step to rewiring your thinking. You also need to learn to see failure as feedback, not judgment. Every failure contains a lesson. If you stop and analyze, you'll see your weaknesses, things you need to improve. Someone who fails a lot but learns from it will move faster than someone who's never tried and only knows fear. A growth mindset doesn't eliminate fear. It helps you walk alongside fear and keep going. Another critical factor is persistence. People with a growth mindset understand they can't change in just one day. They don't expect instant results. They're patient with themselves and know that progress is a process of small steps. This persistence creates long-term strength because it helps them not fall before temporary difficulties. Remember, a growth mindset is the key that opens every door. When you believe you can grow, you'll live more proactively, more powerfully, and be ready to face bigger challenges. And when mindset changes, action changes. When action changes, life changes. Now, to confirm you're ready to build a new mindset for yourself, leave a comment. This will be your first commitment to yourself. Write this below. I choose to grow my mindset every day. Secret 5. Consistency is everything. Small steps, big results. Outstanding. When you write that down, you're planting a new seed in your mind. And if you nurture it every day, it will become the powerful force that drives you toward a better version of yourself. And now, having seen the power of a growth mindset, we need to move into the most sustainable factor of all. This is the part many people understand, but very few actually do. Not because it's hard, but because it requires repetition, persistence, and a level of commitment to yourself that most of us lose after a few days of initial excitement. This is what separates people who reach the finish line from those who stop halfway. And that's consistency and discipline every single day. Success comes from small actions repeated continuously, not from temporary bursts of effort. If you look at any successful person, you'll see they don't rely on inspiration bursts. They rely on a system of habits maintained over a long period. Professional athletes don't wait for motivation to train. Professional writers don't wait to feel inspired to write. Business builders don't wait for ideal circumstances to take action. They follow a plan, follow a set rhythm, whether they're tired, busy, or have zero emotion that day. Because they understand one thing. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum creates results. Consistency means every day you do a little, but you don't quit. Discipline means you keep your promise to yourself even when no one knows, no one sees, and no one applauds. This is the hardest part because you're facing yourself. No applause, no recognition. Just you and the decision of whether to do it today or not. But it's those difficult days that build the most inner strength. Think back to the times you were determined to start a new habit. Day 1, day 2, even day 3. You were excited. You felt like you were changing. But by day 4, day 5, or when work got busy, you started thinking, okay, I'll skip today and pick it up tomorrow. And that exact moment is when you start losing progress. 1 day off leads to 2 days off. 2 days off leads to forgetting you ever wanted to change. This isn't because you're weak. It's because the human brain naturally wants to return to old habits. New habits need time to take root, and consistency is how you help them dig deep and stand firm. An important truth that behavioral science has proven. Habits are formed not by big actions, but by small actions repeated. If you do something long enough, your brain automatically considers it normal and maintains it more easily. For example, you don't need to work out for an hour every day to create a habit. You just need 10 minutes every morning. What matters isn't the duration, it's that you do it consistently. Consistency also helps you build trust with yourself every time you keep a promise. Even a small one like reading 5 pages every night, you're sending a signal that you're trustworthy. On the flip side, every time you break a promise to yourself, your mind registers that you're someone who struggles with discipline. Over time, you'll lose confidence, lose motivation, and lose the ability to commit long-term. So consistency doesn't just create habits, it builds self-respect. Here's something interesting. When you're consistent with small actions, you won't need to spend too much willpower to maintain them. At first, you have to use willpower to start. But when the action becomes a habit, you do it on autopilot. Like brushing your teeth every morning, you don't think about it, you don't weigh it, you just do it. Long-term success is built on these automatic habits. Many people fail because they think success must come from giant leaps. But actually, giant leaps only happen when you've accumulated enough small steps beforehand. A marathon runner can't run 26 miles on their first try, but they can run 1 mile every day. A writer can't finish 300 pages in one night, but they can write 1 page daily. Someone who wants financial freedom can't make a fortune overnight, but they can save a little each month and invest consistently. Life always rewards persistence, not speed, not flashes of brilliance, but perseverance. Every small action, if repeated consistently, will accumulate into a big result that sometimes even you won't expect. Like water dripping can carve stone, small actions can change an entire life. And don't forget, consistency helps you overcome fleeting emotions. There will be days you feel tired, bored, want to quit. But if you have a habit, you'll keep going anyway. Habits don't require emotions. They just need you to maintain them. And on those days when you work without emotion, you prove your true character. Consistency and discipline are the heartbeat of the success journey. Without consistency, all efforts fall into disruption. Without discipline, all goals remain incomplete. And if you want any major change in life, you have to start with small steps, a little every day, without stopping. Now, to confirm you're ready to build a disciplined and consistent lifestyle, leave a comment. This will be your commitment to yourself that you've chosen the long-term path, not quick results. Write this below. I commit to being consistent every day. The formula. How it all comes together. Wonderful. When you write that down, you're resetting your relationship with yourself. A relationship based on discipline, self-respect, and long-term action. And this is the most solid foundation for any success you want to achieve. Now that we've walked through each critical foundation, knowing what you want, daring to act, choosing the right environment, nurturing a growth mindset, and training consistency every day, it's time to bring all these pieces together into one complete picture. This is the point many people miss. They think being good at one thing is enough. But the truth is, success only appears when all factors harmonize like a well-oiled machine. Success is the combination of clear goals, action, positive mindset, and consistency. This isn't a pretty slogan. It's a formula proven through thousands of success stories, from everyday people to legendary figures. Each element is like a pillar. If one collapses, the entire structure shakes. Imagine, if you don't have clear goals, you'll act vaguely, easily falling into a state of running without knowing where you're running to. All effort gets scattered and doesn't create significant results. If you have goals but don't act, the goal will only be something in your head. It will never become reality. Next, if you act but your mindset is negative, you'll sabotage yourself. You'll doubt your abilities, fear failure, and easily give up. And finally, if you have all three factors but lack consistency, you'll stop halfway. Success requires repetition, and repetition requires persistence. This formula works like a continuous cycle. Goals give you direction. Action creates results. Positive mindset keeps your energy and faith. Consistency helps you reach the end. When these four elements combine, you create a powerful force that not only moves you forward, but also helps you surpass your own old limits. Someone who only has goals but doesn't act will stay in dream mode forever. Someone who only acts but doesn't have the right mindset will easily burn out. Someone who only relies on positive thinking but isn't consistent will soon give up when facing challenges. But someone who has all four elements, even starting from a very average point, can still create extraordinary changes. If you look back at your life, you'll see the periods when you grew the strongest were always when these four factors appeared together. When you have clear goals, you naturally want to act. When you act, you see progress. When you see progress, you have an optimistic mindset. When your mindset is optimistic, it's easier to be consistent. And that consistency leads you to bigger results, creating more motivation to set new goals. This is the endless cycle of growth. Conversely, when one element is missing, you fall into a reverse spiral. No goals, you act aimlessly. No action, you blame yourself. No positive mindset, you easily quit. No consistency, you start over too many times. And the more you restart, the more you lose faith in yourself. Jim Rohn's core message isn't generic advice. It's a simple but powerful map you can use to check your life whenever you feel stuck. Just look at these 4 pillars, and you'll know what you're missing, where you're going wrong, and what needs adjusting. Many people think success is a secret, but really it's a series of simple things done right and maintained long term. Clear goals, daily action, positive mindset, consistency. When you link these together, your life will start shifting. Whether slow or fast doesn't matter. What matters is you're heading in the right direction. Success doesn't come from one explosive moment. It comes from this steady formula. And when you understand this core message, you won't be scrambling among hundreds of different pieces of advice anymore. You know you just need to focus on these 4 elements, and that's enough to change your entire life. Now, to help you deeply remember this most important message and simultaneously commit to yourself, leave a comment below. I choose to build my foundation for success. What you'll see when you apply these secrets. Excellent. When you write that down, you're marking the connection of the 4 core factors in your mind. And when these 4 pillars are anchored, the road ahead will be clearer than ever before. When you begin the journey of applying these 5 secrets, the first transformations won't be loud. They won't be massive overnight changes, but subtle, critical shifts inside you. And it's these quiet movements that create the foundation for lasting change. First, you'll notice you're no longer living in a fog like before. When you learn to set clear goals, your mind becomes clearer, more focused. You no longer feel like every day is the same. You start seeing yourself with direction, with a destination, with a reason to wake up in the morning. The moment you know clearly what you truly want, you begin stepping out of being swept along and into taking control. This is one of the most powerful transformations because it gives you back the power to decide your own life. Next, you'll see your actions become more decisive. Procrastination starts to decrease. You no longer sit waiting for a perfect moment. No longer wait for motivation to arrive. You create motivation through small daily actions. This increases inner confidence because you start believing in yourself. Every time you complete a small step, you reinforce the belief that you're someone who walks the talk. And this belief will open a series of doors that you previously thought you weren't good enough to walk through. You'll also clearly feel the change in relationships around you. When you're more conscious of your environment, you'll start filtering out toxic relationships, meaningless conversations, negative interactions. You're no longer easily dragged down by pessimistic thoughts or people who always spread doubt. Instead, you find connection with people who are more positive, more progressive. They don't have to be perfect, but they're always growing. This change is a turning point because who you become will always reflect the environment you choose to live in. Another deep transformation is the change in mindset. You no longer see failure as the end. You no longer think you can't do something. You gradually replace limiting self-talk with better questions. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you start reminding yourself, "I can't do this yet, but I'm learning." And that word "yet" opens up a huge space for growth. You become more flexible, more open, lighter with yourself, and that makes you stronger than ever. When you persist with these principles, you'll see your discipline increase without having to force yourself. No more struggling too much. Discipline becomes a natural choice. You create new habits more easily and keep them longer. You're no longer controlled by fleeting emotions. You choose action based on what's right, not what's convenient. This is the kind of discipline that takes you far. Not rigid discipline that makes you feel heavy, but the kind that creates real freedom. One of the biggest transformations you'll see in yourself is a sense of peace. Not peace because life got easier, but because you got stronger. When you know where you're going, know what you're doing, know you can grow, you're not as scared as before. Inner anxiety gradually fades. You feel like you're in the right place, at the right time, on the right journey. This is the kind of deep peace you only get when you live aligned with your values and goals. The next change is confidence. Not external confidence based on achievements or compliments, but internal confidence. This is the kind of confidence that can't easily be knocked down by criticism, a failure, or one misstep. It comes from within, from the consistent actions you take every day. When you continuously prove to yourself that you can do it, you start believing you deserve a better life. And this belief is the foundation for your breakthrough. And finally, you'll realize you've evolved. Not through giant leaps, but through persistent steps. You become a better version of yourself. Not because you're perfect, but because you improve every day. You're no longer someone waiting for miracles. You're someone who creates miracles through clear goals, right action, expanded thinking, and persistent consistency. The transformations you'll see in yourself are the most valuable reward. They don't just change your outer life, but transform your entire inner world. And once the inside changes, the outside automatically shifts to match. You don't become someone else. You become yourself at a better, stronger, clearer version. If you're ready to step into this journey, leave a sign, a commitment to yourself. You deserve that transformation. Comment below. I'm ready to grow every day. Your next step starts now. Very good. When you write that down, you're sending a signal to your mind that you've chosen growth. And from this moment, you're no longer standing still. You're moving toward a more powerful, wiser, and proactive version of yourself. We've reached the end, and you've walked through all the most important foundations Jim Rohn wanted to share. And if there's one message that needs to be carved deeper than anything else, it's this. You don't need to do a whole lot. You just need to not stop. Success isn't a sprint. It's a journey of steady steps. Nobody builds their dream life with just a few days of explosive effort. But anyone can change their fate if they know how to move forward a little at a time, day after day, without quitting. The most important thing right now isn't how much you do. It's that you start. You really start. You start today. Even if it's just one small action, that's the action that puts you outside the procrastination zone and into the transformation zone. You'll never feel completely ready, but you'll always thank yourself for daring to take that first step. And once you've started, let consistency lead the way. Because it's consistency, not inspiration, that creates long-term results. Life always belongs to those who take one more step, even when tired, even when doubting, even when no one's watching. Every small step has value because it pulls you away from your old version and moves you closer to the person you want to become. Remember, without the first step, there's no second step. But once you take that first step, you're the one opening up the entire journey ahead. So the final question for you is, will you keep standing still in your old limits, or will you take one small step today to begin your transformation journey? You decide. Wishing you strength, wisdom, and consistency on your journey to becoming the best version of yourself. Thank you for listening to this very moment. If this video resonated with you and you're ready to transform your life, do 3 things right now. Hit that like button to let the algorithm know this message needs to reach more people who are ready to change their lives. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss powerful content that helps you level up every single day. Share this video with one person you know who needs to hear this message today. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is showing them they have the power to change. Drop a comment below, telling me which of these 5 secrets hit you the hardest. Was it defining clear goals, taking immediate action, choosing your environment, developing a growth mindset, or committing to daily consistency? Let me know. I read every comment and your insights might help someone else watching. And if you're serious about transformation, check out the links in the description below for additional resources, books, and tools that will support you on this journey. Remember, the gap between where you are and where you want to be is filled with consistent action. Don't let another day pass living below your potential. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make right now. Let's build that better life together. See you in the next video.